in the NBA. Winners of 8 straight games to close out the regular season. Most recently, they took down the Detroit Pistons 140-133 in overtime last night. The Bucks earned the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference, where they will face the Indiana Pacers, a rematch of last year's first round. Well, they're running it back this year. First round of the playoffs begin on Saturday. Bucks-Pacers tipping off at noon, televised on ESPN. You could also listen to the first game Saturday right here on 100.5 ESPN. The Milwaukee Brewers returned from their West Coast road trip today after falling to the Diamondbacks this weekend, dropping 2 of 3 games, including a 5-2 loss yesterday. They face the Detroit Tigers starting tonight. Tyler Alexander on the mound. Coverage starts at 6 p.m. right here on ESPN.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
You gotta keep your chill with Jim, Matt, and Molly.
I am savage.
So you're not special.
Jim, if we want to play this game, we can play this game.
And I'm just like, oh my God, this guy's gonna swing on Jim. He's a complicated fellow. Oh.
People like me.
I don't think so.
This is Jim, Matt, and Molly on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
We're learning a lot about each other.
David Deerfield says Naughty Molly rears her dirty mind once again.
What's the difference? It's like the same thing as a hot
Brats
dog.
are so much different texture. And you guys know what I'm talking about.
Okay. Sure. Can you get us any insight onto the tush push?
We've talked about it a lot on our show.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I am a hated man in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio in downtown Madison, alongside Molly Brown. Here's Jim Rutledge.
It is Jim, Matt, and Molly. We are presented by Coors Light. The mountains are blue. You know what to do.
And that's Crush a Coors Light.
You can see us on the ESPN Madison YouTube page. You can see me in my fantastic Coors Light polo. Molly Brown on site with me as well at the Sylvee, as we are here for the Frank Beer Showcase, and we are thrilled to be here. I think it's actually technically Frank Distributing Showcase, because I do see here a lot of great products from our good friends at Frank, whether it's the beer or alcohol side of things. This is probably the 4th or 5th year that I've done this now, Molly, and this is year number 1 for you, though, right?
Year number 1 for me on a show. I believe it was last year or maybe the year before. I can't keep track of it now, but I did help set up. So I have been here, and I have seen all the wonderful products in years past. So
there's also cool gear here, so maybe if you're nice, you can look for some awesome gear from everyone here. From lots of different brands, lots of brands we've worked with over the years. And as I look across the way, I see the Carbless table, which reminds me, you can get in on the Carbless Talk and text line, 844-770-3776. List is more. We have an exciting guest today, Molly Brown, so that's what we're going to take calls for if you want to chime in on it. We have Matt Miller from ESPN at NFL Draft Scout on Twitter, and he is a draft guru. He's someone I followed even before he went to ESPN. Kind of almost not a direct replacement of like McShay when McShay left Kiper, but he is becoming more and more of Mel Kiper's right-hand man. And Ryan, Primetime Lorsheim, is back at the Everlight Solar Studio. You were telling me before the show that Matt Miller is kind of stepping in, is on day 3, filling the Mel Kiper role with the ESPN broadcast.
Yeah, so he's been appearing on multiple podcasts around the ESPN draft industry. And yeah, he mentioned that on day 3 up at Green Bay for the NFL draft, he'll be filling into that exact same role on the panel, on the table for ESPN's made broadcast. So he's an expert in all things draft, and specifically those players outside of the top 100.
And we want to open up the phone lines, 844-770-3776, specifically to ask you, because we have some questions geared up for Matt Miller. I'm excited to talk to him. This is my favorite time of year in the offseason. I like this more than even NFL free agency. I want to ask, I got a lot of questions for Matt Miller, but we want to ask you, 844-770-3776. That's how you get into the show on the Carlos Talking text line. This is more. What questions do you have for Matt Miller? We will pick our favorite. If there's two good questions, we might even do two. 844-770-3776. You can chime in on what you'd like us to ask Matt Miller of ESPN around the Packers NFL draft. Last week, we cleared up that the Packers, and Mark Murphy gave the same answer to everyone out there, so we're not special, but we did clear it up on our show that the Packers can trade the first-round pick if that's what Goody believes the Packers should do.
But they won't, right?
I could see them trading. They're not a team. They value volume over quantity.
But what are they getting in return? Like, hypothetically.
Or quality, excuse me.
Hypothetically.
Yeah.
What are they getting in return?
Well,
if they give
I don't
away
have my
their
draft
first-round
chart in front of me. What I could do, or maybe Ryan can help us out, I would imagine this is probably a similar range when they traded back from getting T.J. Watt, and they got a pick. They ended up picking Kevin King and Vince Beagle with those picks.
Oh, great picks.
Yeah, it worked out
over
fantastic.
T.J. Watt.
Let's go.
But I don't know the exact trade of that. We can look that up, but I am talking right now, so it's a little harder to look that up as I am talking. But it wouldn't be a major haul, but Jason Wilde has said no less than 10 times in his appearances since the end of the season that Goody does not have enough draft picks to make himself happy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he might want more, and so that would mean that he is going to be out there trying to acquire more. Does that mean he moves off the first pick for the Packers? I don't know. That's something we can ask Matt Miller. And again, you can chime in 844-770-3776. He's joining the show around 4:40, and you can give us your best questions to ask Matt Miller, and we'll pick some of our favorites. 844-770-3776. Carl was talking text line. Less is more.
So I know we've talked about this before, but that would be absolutely crazy to me. And I know Goody is unpredictable, everything. I understand. But if the Packers got rid of their first-round pick when the draft, like, this is the only time that the NFL draft will come to Green Bay, because I kind of have a feeling it's going to be a little bit crazy and a blank show a little bit, just because it's Green Bay, and I don't think that the town has the capacity for it, but it's never coming back. That if they did trade away their first-round pick, oh my gosh. I think fans would go crazy. I really do. So, I don't know. I'm hoping not. But I am looking at the 2017 draft, which is when Kevin King did get drafted.
I do have this in front of me now, so go ahead. If you have I have the trade details.
Oh, go for the trade details. I was just looking through the first-round picks.
All right, in 2017 NFL draft, the Green Bay Packers traded their first-round pick, number 29 overall, so 6 picks back from where they're picking now, to the Cleveland Browns, and they did not select T.J. Watt. The Packers traded their first-round pick to the Browns in exchange for future picks, including Kevin King and outside linebacker Vince Beagle. By trading back, the Packers were able to acquire more draft capital, including a second-round pick, number 33, and a fourth-round pick, number 108. While T.J. Watt was considered a potential first-round pick, the Packers ultimately chose to prioritize acquiring additional draft capital and selecting Kevin King. Watt went on to have a successful career with the Pittsburgh Steelers, becoming Pro Bowler and All-Pro. And this is, again, from Google AI. The decision to not draft Watt and trade back has been subject to debate and criticism, with some arguing it was a misstep by the Packers.
And did you see who Cleveland ended up getting at pick 29? David Njoku.
Ooh, I didn't even know that.
So double whammy there.
Insult to injury there.
Yep.
844-770-3776. You can chime in with your questions for Matt Miller of ESPN if you want to have us ask him a specific question. Jim Rutledge, Molly Brown with you. We are at the Sylvee for the Frank Distributing Showcase. We're thrilled to be here. And I have a working theory for what the Packers will do with their pick that I will talk to Matt Miller about if these two players are available. But I do want to throw out a Siding Unlimited poll question. And I know this seems simplistic, and it's not really an either-or, but at the same time, I'd rather ask it like this. And we can chime in, 844-770-3776. Carl was talking text line. List is more. When it comes to the NFL draft, do you want your GM to be a quality, which means kind of go get your guy, or quantity? So basically, how many do you want? One good bite at the apple, or do you want multiple bites at the apple? Because Goody is a multiples guy.
Right.
There's not a ton of times. It's not never. There's not a ton of times where the Packers have had a guy where they feel like, I got to go get this person, and I'm going to do it. It's not a never, but it does seem that they are a team that really values quantity. Like, give me as many picks as possible over quality.
Yep.
844-770-3776, our signing limit poll question. When it comes to the NFL draft, we'll go specific here. Do you want the Packers for this draft, do you want them to choose quantity or quality, which means basically have conviction on a guy?
Mm-hmm. See, I feel like this is a situation where it's the grass is always greener. You want what you can't have. I don't know if those are both mutually exclusive or not, but that's kind of how I feel about this question. Is as a Packers fan, obviously, like you said, Brian Gutekunst has so often chosen quantity over quality that as a fan, I'm like, just choose a quality player. Like, we've talked about how many times that he only has, 4 out of 47 guys that he's drafted still on the current roster. And the best pick that he's had in his career as GM has been Jair Alexander.
Yep.
I want more. I want more of that. I want more, not necessarily Jair's, but I want more of that
Jair
caliber
Alexander,
of a player.
though.
For
Yes.
sure. Yes, pre-injury. And I mean, it is what it is. Football, you got hurt. And there's other things that we probably don't know about that have gone on. But give me more Jair's. Give me more that caliber player. I want it. And as a Packer fan, you're not getting that.
844-770-3776. When it comes to the Green Bay Packers in the NFL draft, this year specifically, do you want quantity or do you want quality, which really I'm talking about conviction? Like, if Goody has conviction, do the scouts on the Green Bay Packers have conviction? It says, this guy is our guy. This guy is going to succeed. We're not going to miss out on player X. 844-770-3776. Milo will get to the Carbos Talking text line in a second. List is more. Here are two names that I guarantee the Packers, and we can maybe even do this a little bit later with prospecting the Packers, and we can ask Matt Miller to maybe participate a little bit in it, as he's going to be joining the show a little bit later at 4:40. Matt Miller from ESPN. Boston College, I would say the defensive end, Donovan Ezeraku, who played for Jeff Hafley at Boston College. He's a guy that initially had maybe almost a third-round grade. He's been climbing up and has been viewed as a guy that could be a late first-round pick. He'll be kind of a beauty in the eye of the beholder type pick. And that one makes sense because, one, you can make your defensive coordinator happy. You give him that carrot and say, hey, great job last year. If you believe in this guy and you want to pound the table for him, great. You got him. Take your pick. Let's go. And the other one would be also for the defense, Shamar Stewart.
Yep.
I just think the defensive end / maybe D tackle, he's kind of a talented player, and he's a guy who I think is all over the board because his RAS scores are right up there, I believe, with Myles Garrett, but his production is less than like Lucas Van Ness at Iowa.
Which is what Goody loves.
That's what I mean. It really will be a selfish choice there for Goody in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at 23, I honestly wouldn't fault the Packers for taking a guy like Stewart. The issue with him would be more of like, you did that with Gary and it's worked out okay. Van Ness is very much, he's honestly trending towards bust over star.
I mean, he was a 13th-round pick. And
13th overall pick.
Yes. Sorry.
Yes.
Let's go.
But if you go 23 and you want to go a Toolsley player, I don't hate it. But when you have one that kind of worked out and another one that didn't work out, and you have so many other needs, I don't know if that works out for the Packers. 844-770-3776. That's the Carbos Talking text line. List is more.
TJ from the road says if they pick a first-round player just because the draft is in Green Bay, somebody needs to be fired. Daniel Landscaper chimes in. This is how I know the Packers suck at drafting. They passed on DK and A.J. Brown in 2019 when we had 2 first-round picks. LOL. They both went on in the second round. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say, and Stewart is from Texas A&M, a guy with not much production at Texas A&M, and he's not like, again, I will say this, it's not like he was a bum. It's just for the RAS score he has to not have more of a dominating presence in college is surprising. But he did get pressures, he did make plays. It's not like he was some sort of bum. He was just not the guy. Like when you think of like Khalil Mack in college, he had a double-digit sack year. Myles Garrett had a double-digit sack year. I believe J.J. Watt did. But obviously here at Wisconsin, we know the impact that J.J. had at Wisconsin. So same with T.J. That elite pass rushers, in the perfect world, you're finding that balance between people who are super productive in college, but then also have elite overall athletic skills.
844-770-3776. That is the Carbless Talk and text line. Chris from Manitowish Water says, for this year and this year only, let's go for quality. Move up, not back. Draft is in Green Bay, and we only have 7 picks. Any other year, go quantity. And TJ from the road says, quality is always better than quantity, but Goody hasn't proven to be very accurate on the so-called conviction players.
Yeah, Goody's, look, we can say this, and we have Matt Miller coming up a little bit. From ESPN. He'll be joining the show at 4:40. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly. We are live at the Frank Distributing Showcase at the Sylvee. And if you missed any of today's show, I want to tell everyone they can listen back. But, and including the show, we had Mark Murphy and Tucker Kraft on from the Packers tailgate last week, Wednesday. But there's a new place to listen back. Like, you still can listen back, Apple, Spotify. You guys, I think you guys have picked up when you listen to the show that I think Good Karma on ESPN does a lot of great things, but I'm not just going to shill out everything and be like, because then even for like our own things, I'm not going to be like, if I'm a little lukewarm on something, I'm not going to go nuts on telling you how great it is. The ESPN Wisconsin app is awesome. And so now you can get that in the ESPN or in the App Store, whether it's Android or the Apple App Store, and you can customize it. There'll be contests in it. You can, participate in contesting in the future, and you can live stream any of our shows. So honestly, the best way now, because with customizing, you can say like, hey, I want Jim, Matt, and Molly podcast every single day, and then maybe I want the Jump Around, which is also another great show, digital show we do every Thursday.
I have no idea.
With me and Pablo Iglesias. So
People
other things that we do. Maybe you want to listen to the Edge Construction Show. You could probably pop that in there as well.
Who hosts that one?
I host that one as well.
People like me.
Whatever it is, however you want to, customize your listening experience, you can do it in the ESPN Wisconsin app. Live listening, show replays, exclusive content. It's all in the new ESPN Wisconsin app. Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The Wisconsin sports fans' best way to stay in touch with their favorite ESPN Wisconsin shows and keeping up with their favorite teams. Find the new ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores. It is fantastic. It is really a great app there. But one of the things we could ask Matt Miller is, how does he view, because he'll be joining a little bit later at 4:40, how does he view the Packers specifically in the first round? Because they've missed on some players from Georgia, and they're not complete bust all the time. Like, at certain times it could be a disaster, but like when you look at some of these guys, I would say Devontae Wyatt is not a complete disaster. He's better than, let's say, Quay Walker, and Quay Walker's a developing player. But obviously Eric Stokes was a mess, and Van Ness doesn't look great. Rashawn Gary probably overdrafted / then overpaid, but that's not a disaster. And then Jordan Morgan not playing this year. So, like, that's the other – or didn't play much last year. There was injury, but he already looks like a player that is not going to project to be a left tackle. He's going to project to be inside. And, look, taking a guard in that position isn't terrible, but I would say that Goody makes his hay in like rounds 2 through 4.
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious to see what Matt Miller has to say about that, though, because I do think that is a good question. And honestly, we can ask him if he thinks that the Packers are going to trade away their pick.
The 608 chimes in. The player in this class the Packers have a chance to get and improve their team the most is Tet McMillan. Would love for Goody to go up and get Tet. I don't disagree with that. I think he is a player that nobody's flawless. There's some maturity issues, it sounds like, with him as far as reading and doing film work. But he's a young man. Players can grow out of those sort of things. And if you have a strong culture and a good coaching staff, what the Packers do, I think that's something that if he slipped because some people have concerns about those things, I think the Packers would be the perfect team to draft him, because I think they have, especially with their offensive coaches, enough to believe in to say that, like, hey, this group is professional. They would help McMillan get over some of his maybe immaturities. 844-770-3776. That's a Carbless Talk and text line. List is more. We'll continue the draft talk on the other side. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions, securing homes and businesses in the Madison area since 1987.
Hi, it's Eric from Canopy Wealth Management. Our years of experience have prepared us to guide you through your life transitions. Our local professional team brings over 90 years of collective experience in the wealth management industry for the benefit of our clients. Canopy Wealth Management. Care, competence, clarity. It's not just a tagline, it's a promise. Go to canopy-wealth.com to get started on your financial future today. That's canopy-wealth.com.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Outdoor Living Unlimited's showroom on Stoughton Road is absolutely a must-see. Nobody builds a better backyard better than Outdoor Living Unlimited. New deck, outdoor kitchen, screen room, fire pit, and in-ground pool. Outdoor Living Unlimited is Wisconsin's leader in building the new deck. Wisconsin's #1 TimberTech decking installer. Looking for a backyard hardscape design? Stop by Outdoor Living Unlimited's amazing Madison showroom. Visit our open house on Saturday, April 19th from 9 to 1 p.m. and meet the team. Or visit OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Junior Achievement of Wisconsin has had business technology from James Imaging Systems for several years. Lori Salzman, Vice President of Enterprise Services, explains why.
We started with the document imaging, and I have to say that the service and support has been fantastic.
James Imaging Systems, a 100% Wisconsin-owned and managed business technology company.
I've never met an organization that is so responsive to make sure that we are up and running all the time for us to be more efficient and allow us to focus more on the work that we do for helping young people.
Lori, what's your recommendation to others that aren't getting that kind of attention from their business technology company?
Please call James Imaging because they will work with you to make sure that you find a solution that can make you more efficient and productive.
Make the call 608-221-3457 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
From color-changing alexandrite to shimmering zircon and everything in between at Chalmers Jewelers, you'll find high-quality, affordable, one-of-a-kind pieces. We source straight from the gem cutters and we manufacture in-house from start to finish. As the manufacturer, we believe in truth in pricing. Never pay more for quality and stunning, beautiful jewelry. She's one of a kind, and so should her jewelry be. While others may send your jewelry dreams to someone else to make, with us, your dreams become reality with the help of our custom jewelers, with you involved the whole way. With a staff that has over 200 years of combined experience, why buy from a place that marks up jewelry made by the thousands? When you can buy direct from Chalmers for that one-of-a-kind piece that is better quality, often for less.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance, like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions.
Ain't shady, baby, I'm hot like the prodigal son.
ESPN's Fantasy Focus Football Podcast is coming to Green Bay on April 23rd. Field Yates, Daniel Dopp, Mike Clay, Liz Loza, and Stefania Bell are doing a live show at the Tundra Trio. ESPN Wisconsin wants to send you and a friend up to Green Bay to see the show happen live. Right now, caller number 3 wins 2 tickets. These are our final 2 tickets to give away to ESPN's Fantasy Focus Football Live at the Tundra Trio. See the show up close, meet all the hosts, and get complimentary food and drinks and Fantasy Focus Football Podcast merch. That's caller number 3 right now, 844-770-3776. Caller number 3 right now, 844-770-3776. Visit ESPNWisconsinContest.com for full details.
This is Jim, Matt, and Molly. We are live at the Sylvee for the Frank Distributing Showcase. You're not invited, but it's awesome here. I want to be clear on that.
I'll tell you how great it is.
I don't want anyone to come down and try to get in. It's a private event where the good folks at Frank Distributing showcase their great products to all the great vendors in the area. We're always thrilled to be a part of it, just because, one, we get to sit on stage, Molly.
Yeah, how do you feel about this? I feel like you probably love it, where I got a little sweaty when I first got here. Just seeing where we're at.
Yeah, it's fun. You get the crowd looking up at you. We'll be up here for a little bit later in the year, I believe, with Carbon World Health. They are doing the cycle, like they do like the cycling thing, and we're usually up here for that as well.
Okay.
So being on stage, I just feel at home, Molly. No, this is a great event because, one, we work with so many of these great brands that are here, but then also it's a great opportunity to sample some of the new brands that are coming to the area. So maybe we'll have to do some investigative reporting after the show and tell you what to be looking out for from our good friends at Frank Distributing. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly. We are presented by Coors Light. Jim Rutledge, Molly Brown with you. Matt Hamilton, God knows where he is. We didn't even reference that he was gone in the first segment, but he's out somewhere. Is it curling related?
Yes, Nashville, I believe.
I'll be honest,
it was actually, we're going to have to ask him about it because when I tried to Google, I literally Googled curling Nashville because there can't be that many things that come up, And there was something with some voting thing to vote for like your favorite curlers to come to this is what I'm getting from it. So I don't know. He must be kind of popular.
Because I was going to say, one, I'm not great outside of like if it's an opportunity for him to improve their national rankings on the curling. Like I don't follow along when he plays in like some of the other curling stuff. So Matt he could do a personal thing right now. I wouldn't know. I'm not going to check in on anything. If they're competing, I don't care.
No, you literally asked him last week. You're like, so is this a personal thing or a curling thing?
Well, and I don't think it's either. It sounds like this is more of like Matt's just trying to somehow he got to go to Nashville for free thing.
Yeah, I think so.
I guess a little bit of both.
What a life.
Right? He'll be back on the show on Thursday, I believe. And then next week we're going to be doing some stuff around the NFL draft, so make sure to stay tuned to ESPN Madison throughout. Jim, Matt, and Molly will have some fun stuff, including we have Matt Miller coming up next segment here. So we are at 4:40 here, so we're excited to be talking to him as well. So plenty of different things to get into with Matt Miller. You can chime in 844-770-3776 on the Carbos Talking text line. This is more. If you have a question that you'd like us to ask Matt Miller of ESPN, you still have time to chime in, and we will ask that question of Matt if we think it is a good question. If we think it's a bad question, we're not going to ask it. But we do have what I think is a good poll question out there, a Siding Unlimited poll question, 844-770-3776. We want to know, do you want the Packers to prioritize the quantity or the quality of their picks in this year's NFL draft? We asked that because Jason Wilde has said many times that Goody, I believe the Packers have 8 picks. He wants more. And I hear that. But I would have a red flag if he was the always go up and get it guy. But he leans to I feel like 75% of the time Goody would rather just take as many bites at the apple and have quantity over quality. And there's other GMs, like in Chicago they joke with Poles, that Ryan Poles, their GM, that he hates draft picks. And sometimes that works in his favor. Montez Sweat, they got him for a second-round pick. That's probably better than you could do most of the time in a second round. Sometimes it works against them when they want to chase Claypool. But worth noting that Goody also offered a second-round pick for Chase Claypool from Pittsburgh a couple years ago. It's just the Steelers rightfully thought the Bears would be worse, and so they took the Bears pick. So Goody was in on that. He was willing to trade a second-round pick for Chase Claypool, but there, by the grace of God, he was saved from a stupid decision. So sometimes the best moves you make are the ones you don't. But right now, 78% of you say this year specifically they want quality, get the higher picks.
So I'm curious from an outsider's perspective, because obviously you're a Bears fan, and like you were just saying, they do it a bit differently than how Brian Gutekunst does. Which do you prefer? Would you prefer that your team is doing what Brian Gutekunst has historically done, or would you rather he switches it up, or should it be varying based on whatever the draft kind of commands? Where do you kind of land as a fan?
Man, it really, again, I don't like the all or nothing. I would rather have it be somewhere in the middle. But I'll throw it out to you right now. So, Molly, you can answer this. I will give you the Bears the last couple drafts, and you tell me which one you think is better, the Packers or the Bears, just off the top of your head. So, Ryan Poles, his first draft, he took Kyler Gordon. He didn't have a first-round pick. It was traded away when they got Justin Fields. So his first pick was Kyler Gordon in the second round and he was just signed to a big-time extension. Looks like one of the better slot corners in the NFL, was just paid as one of the highest, or paid as the highest slot corner in the NFL.
Okay.
Depending on what you view of Nate Hobbs, because Nate Hobbs got $48 million.
Right.
Kyler Gordon got 40, but it sounds like the Packers are going to play Nate Hobbs on the outside. Jaquan Brisker, he would get an extension there if he had concussion issues, so that could hold it up there. And then I'll just go through a highlight after. So then Bayless Jones, complete bust, abject disaster. And then Braxton Jones, a fifth-round pick is their starting left tackle. So that's a good pick there for the fifth-rounder. And then they have Elijah Hicks, a seventh-rounder, who's a regular starter. All right, and then in 2023, he traded down out of Jalen Carter and ended up getting Darnell Wright and Tyreek Stevenson for that trade.
Okay.
And then also, let's see here. In that draft, he also traded – he traded down twice. He traded down from number 1 because he got out of the first overall pick to get who would have been Bryce Young. Got down to 9 and traded from 9 to 10. So he made multiple trades. In that trade, he got DJ Moore, Caleb Williams, Darnell Wright, and Tyreek Stevenson. So like that one.
I mean, I feel like that kind of we can just stop there, right? I don't think we got to continue.
And then he got Gervon Dexter in the second round as a starting defensive tackle for them. Then last year, they traded back in to get Torrey Taylor. I don't love that for the punter. But then they drafted Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze, and Karan Amagaji. Amagaji's a backup right now, but who knows on him. So, knowing what the Packers have done, who's had a better draft over the last 3 years? Because Poles is still, I don't know all the trade history in there, but he's more of a go and get my guy sort of. Because also in there, you would have Chase Claypool's Montez Sweat.
I mean, like I said, I think he could have just stopped at what he did in 2023. It's just there. But it's crazy to think that he's made that many moves, and he's only been the GM for 3 years?
Yep.
This will be his third draft?
Fourth draft.
That's
his
crazy.
First draft has one player that he's already re-signed, which is kind of, I think, the marker of a good GM, and then another one in Jaquan Brisker, who I think if his concussions are cleared, you can't. It's kind of like Jair Alexander.
Yep.
Where the injuries aside, it was a good pick. And then Braxton Jones, he'll play somewhere. The Bears might replace him, but he's a solid left tackle as a fifth-round pick.
Because I'm trying. So yeah, no, I mean right away my mind goes to Lucas Van Ness. Who else? Who else have the Packers gotten?
Well, Van Ness is not a good pick.
No, I'm that's what I'm saying.
Edgerrin Cooper was a good pick.
Yep, I do like him.
Romeo Doubs was a value pick.
Yes.
And so
probably not going to be a Packer next year.
Value pick, though. Where he was picked, value was there.
For sure.
Zach Tom was a good value pick. Ryan, you can chime in on this, but what else? What about some of the best picks for the Packers?
I think Zach Tom's right at the top of that list. When you mentioned that value, Jim, he was drafted in the 4th round. And he's seen. I saw actually The Athletic released what they are projecting as next year's top free agents, and they actually project him currently as the 11th best free agent, currently slated to hit the market, but he probably never will. He'll probably get a big extension this offseason.
Well-deserved, yep. And then Edgerrin Cooper's another good one there, too.
Edgerrin Cooper's a great one, too. And I think there's a lot of picks in last year's draft. Javon Bullard was a solid young player. Also, Evan Williams, another 4th-round pick. A lot of value picks, solid guys on day 3, especially of the draft. And then there's also the guy from Tucker Kraft from South Dakota.
Well, being as that I'm not from Idaho.
Oh, okay. Well, and those picks was the smart where you doubled up. Like Musgrave was a miss, but then you hit on Tucker.
Yep.
So my whole point with bringing that up was that, and Molly's taking some crap, I think, last year, during the offseason when you were saying the jury's still out on Goody.
Which it still is, in my opinion.
To me, it's year to year for Goody. Because, Goody with a mid-draft could quickly be viewed as the 3rd best or worst GM in the NFC North. If the Lions win the North again, their GM would rightfully so be viewed as the best GM. If the Vikings hit with J.J. McCarthy,
Cam is good,
then they're all of a sudden, that's a good GM. If Chicago hit, if Caleb and hiring Ben Johnson and these free agents hit and they go from 5 wins to 9 wins, and let's say the Packers have 10, Goody very quickly, without a lot of stretch of imagination, could be viewed as the worst GM in the NFC North.
But is that also the benefit? And I know, and obviously you've been around the Bears organization for how many, you've been a fan for how many years and how many decades.
Yep.
But is that also a benefit of taking over a team that, quite frankly, stinks versus a team that has always and we heard Mark Murphy say it last week, consistent success? Is that a benefit? I mean, because it's tough to come in. I mean, it's tough to come into a situation where the team is awful and you have to basically rebuild the entire thing. But, then you do look like the hero. Where Brian Gutekunst, okay, it's like you said, every single year you're on the chopping block. Like, what are we going to think of you?
And this isn't the best radio take, but it still just goes back to, like, a lot of these GMs are very similar because Goody had Aaron Rodgers, and he had to move off of Aaron Rodgers, but he had the luxury of being able to take Jordan Love and sit him behind Aaron Rodgers and maybe develop that guy without the pressure of everything on him, as opposed to, Poles had to come in. He had Justin Fields. He had to kind of, figure out what he was, because it wasn't his coaching staff coaching him. Right. You had to flush that out. And then you had to realize he wasn't the guy, make some moves, get a new quarterback, and start the whole thing over. And so that part is tricky too. So my whole point, and look, it's also, Goody can be viewed as the smartest GM in the NFC North with the few right moves as well. So
true.
I just think most GMs in this entire league, outside of like Howie Roseman and the Chiefs GM escapes me.
Brett Veach.
Veach. Okay, I was going to say Veach, but I was like, maybe that's the owner, the team president. So, but like, there's, Brian, what would you say, 3 to 5 GMs, kind of like quarterbacks, where you go, these guys are truly elite and they get a few-year window, as opposed to there's a clump of them who are good, not great, and they're almost year to year.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. Like the true game changers are the A-tier guys, the ones who are like 10, 15-year franchise quarterbacks, franchise GMs. Maybe we need to make that a term. Yeah, I would say it's Howie Roseman and Brett Veach. I think John Lynch with the 49ers has really proven that he's well-equipped, and especially how well he works with Kyle Shanahan to find guys later, like real value picks in day 2, day 3. Outside of that, I mean, Eric DeCosta, who I know is the Ravens GM, he's another name that comes to mind. But even then, like, they have a lot of the similar complaints that people might have about Brian Gutekunst, where it's like the first-round picks don't always pop for the Ravens. They do sometimes. I mean, Kyle Hamilton is a star. Yeah. But outside of that, they're really, really good at getting value on the second and third days of the draft.
And Lamar, I think, was technically a first-rounder.
He was
the first round?
Yes, they traded back up, pick 32, and they got him.
Yeah. So, but again, and that's where I'm not saying Goody's bad. I'm just saying that when you look at this, the elite side of things, I think, is a little bit more year to year for a lot of these GMs. And Goody's last year's draft, thank goodness they had Edgerrin Cooper, because Jordan Morgan hasn't turned out much. Same thing with Van Ness's draft. Was that Tom's draft then too? No, that was the year before. But if you miss on Van Ness and you miss on other players, then all of a sudden you have to work in how do you cover it up? And what Goody's been good at, and we'll get to Matt Miller here, we're going to take a break, and we'll get to Matt Miller in a second. We can ask some of these things, has been like, hey, if I miss on the first-rounders, I can backfill. But the stars, the Pro Bowlers, the All-Pros are in the first round a lot of times. Not always, but that's where the Packers need more of. They still need more of those werewolves on the field to go out there and cause a lot of issues. Turn yourself into like a werewolf physically with Carbon World Health. You can work out on their Madison location like I did earlier today. You also can talk to them about hormone replacement. Make sure you are at the right hormone and testosterone levels for you, not for your age. You don't have to be you don't have to have the hormones of a 50-year-old. You can go out there and have the right testosterone that would make you feel more more alive, more stronger workouts, better muscle mass, losing weight. That's all available at Carbon World Health, along with GLP-1s. And, of course, they have the cryotherapy and red light therapy over at Carbon World Health. Go see them today. Matt Miller coming up next.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly.
We don't speak about her.
About rivals.
We are not rivals. Yeah, me and Kay are not on the same level in the same sense that Matt thinks that the Bears and the Packers aren't on the same level.
Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
Cheesy Bites Pizza is back at Pizza Hut. For only $13.99, you get a large pizza with 28 pullable, poppable, cheese-filled bites. Plus, it comes with Pizza Hut's very own Ranch Lovers Flight, featuring 3 bold dips: Ultimate Ranch, Chipotle Ranch, and Pepperoni Ranch. 1 large pizza, 3 dips, endless flavor. Ready to dip into deliciousness? Well, hurry. It's only available for a limited time. Head to a Pizza Hut location or order online at pizzahut.com today. Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Stop in for an express oil change at Fish Hatchery Road on Saturdays. No appointment necessary. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Introducing the newest carbless flavor, Mango Vodka. Flavored with the essence of the ripest, freshest mangoes, carbless mango vodka will transport your taste buds to a sunny beach getaway. New flavor, still the same carbless crafted cocktails with 0 carbs, 0 sugars, and only 100 calories. Enjoy a refreshing vodka cocktail without the guilt. 4 packs of the new carbless mango vodka cocktail are available in stores near you. Find your bliss today at drinkcarbless.com and escape with every sip.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for Kohler Services. Well, if you think your shower is one of the ugliest in Wisconsin, upload a photo to goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contest for a chance to win a free shower remodel. Yes, you heard me correctly. One lucky fan will win a free shower remodel from Kohler Services, including a design consultation, demolition, and removal of your existing shower or bath, and installation of a brand new Kohler Lugstone shower. goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contest for your chance to win.
When you've been seriously injured, you'll need a team with knowledge and experience to get the results you deserve. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Spring is here, and Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison is celebrating with 2 fantastic promotions: Rollover Jackpot and Super Picks. Every Tuesday in April will be our Rollover Jackpot drawings. The jackpot grows by $500 with each drawing until a winner is found. And on Saturday afternoon, April 26th, is Super Picks, where 21 winners will each go to the big punch board to reveal a prize up to $5,000. That's over $100,000 in possible cash prizes in one day. April brings so many ways to win at Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison.
Have you been waiting to buy your next home? Stop. Now is the time to get housed. What's up, Madison? It's Stacy from Bruner Realty. Nobody has a crystal ball to know what the future holds. The longer you wait to find your next home, the better the chance you'll be paying more for it than you would be today. Don't miss out on what could be the best opportunity to find your dream home. Contact our team at BrunerRealtyInc.com to help start your search. That's BrunerRealtyInc.com. Let's get housed.
Ben Brust here to tell you about Zimbrick European. They're Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, and certified pre-owned. But the best part is I've been working with them since 2018, and the evolution has been a 2-door, a 4-door, and now it's time for an SUV. My life has changed, and it's changed with Zimbrick European. Being a dad has made it really important to have the comfort and the safety that the SUV will bring me. Again, Zimbrick European off the Beltline at Rimrock Road. Of course, I found the sexiest car on the lot. Check them out.
Get a sneak peek at the 2025 Wisconsin football team. Join us April 19th for Wisconsin Football Spring Showcase presented by UW Credit Union. The day kicks off with the Coles Kids Combine, followed by Badgers Open Practice at noon, featuring new faces like quarterback Billy Edwards Jr. and offensive coordinator Jeff Grimes. After practice, head to the field for photos with Badgers student-athletes. Tickets are $5 and free for football season ticket holders, UW students, and kids under 12. Claim your tickets for the Wisconsin Football Spring Showcase at uwbadgers.com.
Want to join the fastest growing home solar company in the nation and work in the fastest growing industry in the world? Everlight Solar has open positions in the Madison area and in their newly open Milwaukee location. As Wisconsin's largest home solar company, Everlight Solar offers great opportunities to gain new skills and advance your career. Don't miss the chance to join the Everlight Solar team. Visit everlightsolar.com to apply today. Save money, save the planet, and start with Everlight Solar.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Metro Kia Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
Jim, Matt, and Molly continues. This time we're back in the Everlight Solar studio. We are doing a remote downstairs at the Sylvee, but we wanted to make sure that we got a chance to have the opportunity to see Matt Miller on the ESPN Madison YouTube stream. Jim Rutledge, Molly Brown with you. We are presented by Coors Light. Jim, Matt, and Molly. Matt Hamilton is out, but we are joined by a different Matt. Matt Miller of ESPN NFL Draft analyst and insider. Matt, thank you so much for hopping on, which it's got to be a crazy time of year for you, so we appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I thought you guys made the graphic at the bottom for me. It's like, oh, this is so cool. I get to be an honorary host. I was waiting for Light show up so I could do the show with you guys, but it's on with you.
Well, you are filling in for Olympic gold medalist, the curler Matt Hamilton. So he did actually have a question for you, which was, how much time does it take for you to put together? You just released the top 600 draft picks or prospects, in the NFL draft. Like, how much time and effort does it take each year for you to do all this?
9 months is the honest answer. It's something where you start the year with about 1,200 players on a list, and you got lists as you go through the season. Now, obviously, names get added, people move. It is a lot of saying no to players instead of saying yes to them. It's basically how it works, and then you do your final 600, and they're all ranked and graded. But it truly is from before the college season starts till now of trying to get this in order.
And my question going off of that is, how do you have the capacity to study all of these players? Like, I mean, I think it's hard enough to just think of who the Packers could be even possibly looking at and even remembering those names. That, like, how do you remember what each team needs and what the needs that they need to address are in the draft?
The key is being really organized. That's the only way, to be. I'm a Google Sheets nerd, and it's about organized and being able to keep it all straight. But it truly is a full job. And I've been doing this for 15 years. Technology has made it amazing. Now I have the resources to say, I want to watch, every snap of Cam Ward on third down. Okay. It can give me that list. And so what used to take days to do now takes hours. And so it has afforded me the opportunity to study a lot more players. And then when it comes to the team needs side of things, that is just staying organized, keeping track of future contracts. It is something that, this was the job I wanted to do when I was 8 years old. It's something that you have the love of contracts and keeping your spreadsheet updated every time a team trades a player or cuts a player. But that's fun for me.
Talking with Matt Miller of ESPN NFL Draft analyst and insider. You have in your latest mock draft, Kelvin Banks going to the Packers, an offensive tackle from Texas. But a lot of fans here, and look, it's a position that just gets people excited. The Packers have not taken a wide receiver in the first round since 2002. That was Javon Walker out of Florida State. When you're coming up with your mock draft, do you account for team history, which especially that team history, that's a long time not to take a wide receiver in the first round. Does that kind of pop into your brain in some of your research when you're putting together these picks?
Team history, team philosophy does. Because rules like that are meant to be broken. So when fans say, our team has never taken this type of player in the first round, I can remember the Baltimore Ravens under Ozzie Newsome had never taken a LSU player in the first round. And then they did. So you have those rules, and we'll bring them up during the draft, but philosophy matters more. And I think for Green Bay, it's that philosophy of they've needed receivers in the first round and not done it. So that tells you that it feels like a hard and fast rule from Brian Gutekunst and his crew. And so when you get to Green Bay, you can look at the receivers on the board and wait till the second round anyway. Let's go in the trenches, because that's where they tend to spend their picks in the first round.
Something that we've talked about a couple times on our show is obviously the draft is in Green Bay this year. Do you think there's any chance that the Green Bay Packers trade away their first round pick? Because I just think that, as a fan of the Packers, personally, I would be upset if they did, just because it's like, you have a first round pick and it's in Green Bay, right? Like, it would be crazy to me if they did, but also if they ultimately got a better situation, better players, more bang for their buck, so be it. Do you think there's any chance that they do that?
I'm a big sports conspiracy theory person, like the frozen envelope for the Knicks, the Michael Jordan thing. I love this idea. And when the draft was in Kansas City, it's funny, this came up. The Chiefs kind of got stuck. I don't know if you guys remember that, but like the board had been wiped out at their positions of need. And there is a conspiracy that they made the pick of been from Kansas State, Felix and Uzoma. They took him because they wanted to make a pick in the first round when the draft is in their city. I'm supporting that. I'm just saying, in a theory, it's one that I happen to enjoy a lot. So I'm with you. I think when you're the host city, you should have to make your pick in the first round. For Green Bay, it does make some sense to slide back a little bit. I would worry, though, so many playoff teams this year have similar needs. So you don't want to get behind Buffalo and Kansas City because they have a lot of the same needs that you have. We could even say Houston at 25 have the same needs that the Packers have. So that would be the only risk, is sliding back too far, and then your board gets wide similar team need.
Talking with Matt Miller of ESPN NFL Draft Analyst, Jim, Matt, and Molly, Jim Rutledge, Molly Brown with you. I have this theory that if Boston College edged Donovan Ezeraku because of the ties to Jeff Hafley, or if Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M because he's toolsy, and it seems like the Packers love those guys with high RAS scores. If they fell, or maybe Ezeraku would have risen to the Packers, if they're available, I think it could be a real tough choice for Goody. Are those two guys that maybe the Packers would be interested in?
For the longest time, I had Ezra there in the second round. It all happened, and then the combine happened. And so I think that connection makes a lot of sense, just to get back to know your coach, as long as their relationship was good and everything I've heard was that it is. I do think those are very good scheme fits, very good style fits. And Shamar Stewart is someone whose draft range is all over the place. Number 7 overall to the Jets. It could be 31 to the Kansas City Chiefs because of that. His RAS score is a perfect. He's one of the most athletic testers ever at defensive end, but he had 1.5 sacks in each of his 3 seasons in college. And so you're really trying to have the scales with him of how much do you bet on the upside and how much are you concerned about the lack of production in college. And for me, I came on the side of I'm a little more worried about the lack of production, even though Andres has great tools. I think his actual is closer to late 20s.
So a long shot player that I would hope that the Packers would try to get, which, like I said, long shot. Tell me what the Packers would need to do in order to get Travis Hunter. Because in my mind, and we talked about this jokingly on our show, I know it's a joke. I don't know what the Packers would have to do, but I'm curious, in your mind, what would the Green Bay Packers have to do in order to solve their issue at cornerback and potentially wide receiver? Obviously, he would only be able to play one in the NFL. But what would he have to do? What would the Packers have to do in order to get Travis Hunter?
Packers are at 20 in the first round.
Yeah.
So 20 Love probably get you to 2 because the Browns need a quarterback, right? That'd be a starting point for the Browns. So you got to find a quarterback. Would be Malik Willis and Bob. Maybe you're on here.
Hey, there you go.
I don't love that.
I want to talk a little bit about the Badgers in the draft, but we did crowdsource. We did ask our fans that they had one question for you. So he basically, TJ from the road chimed in, and he wanted to know, are there any impact players that the Packers could draft at 23, the most likely to be around, that they can actually start and make an impact this year? Because the Packers didn't do a lot in free agency, so from the outside looking in, it looks like they have a few holes as far as starters to fill in this draft.
I think so. I mean, we talked about the edge rushers. Those guys might not be starters, but they would be in the rotation. They would definitely be primary. So you're getting on the field there. I still think corner is a possibility. Trey Amos from Ole Miss seems to fit what Hafley likes. He's long. He can play press the line of scrimmage. I'm an enormous fan of Jahdae Barron from Texas. He doesn't fit the arm length, but he has the speed. He has versatility. He won the Thorpe Award last year. He's super productive. I do think in year 2, Jeff Hafley, draft number 2, let's watch this and see if there are any trends that change. As they start draft for his type a little bit, does that change what they're ultimately looking for? But I think outside of the edge rushers, there would be corners that could certainly be day 1 impacts. And obviously wide receiver, but I think we all agree that's not going to happen.
Matt, if you have 1 minute, if you could disconnect or reconnect, you've been cutting in and out the last two answers there. So if we could do that real quick, that'd be great. We're talking with Matt Miller of ESPN. We really appreciate his time, but we want to make sure we actually can hear his answers and everything. So far, though, Molly, it does seem like we're smart people. We've asked good questions, and shout out to TJ from the road about that question there. We do want to ask him about a few Badger players in the draft. And we did have another chime in with Tet McMillan falling number 23 for the Packers. That could be another question we can ask Matt Miller when he reconnects there. And again, this is Jim, Matt, and Molly. We are presented by Coors Light. We're live in the Everlight Solar Studio. Matt Miller at NFL Draft Scout is his Twitter handle. So if you do want to follow him, it's fantastic. I absolutely love, I'm going to dive deeper into it, but his top 600 players is what I'm going to use as our new kind of Bible for prospecting the Packers as Matt is back. So, Molly, you can go ahead and ask a question here. But, Matt, I was just saying I love the 600 prospect, manifesto you put out there, and I love the player comps as well. So I'm excited to dig into that because we do a segment here on the show, which is like prospecting the Packers, where we kind of dig into would you rather have this player or that player? And this is going to get a lot of. You're going to make us sound really smart as we kind of just ape what you wrote. So we appreciate that.
No, that's what it's there for, right? Is to be a black book to help everyone. Calling it a manifesto is a little tough, but I guess when you rank 600 players, it kind of speaks to a lot of time in your basement if you rank 600 players. So I get it.
Matt, I am curious. What does your draft week/weekend look like? I know that you're going to be up in Green Bay doing a show on ESPN, correct?
Yeah, so I will be on the main ESPN broadcast on Saturday where we break down all the players in the manifesto, rounds 4, 5, 6, 7. But I'll also be up there all week doing shows like SportsCenter and NFL Live and things like that as we get ready for the draft.
Matt, I wanted to ask you about some current Badgers, but then also some players with Badger ties, as with the NIL and the transfer portal in the NFL. There's kind of former Badgers that are currently in college getting ready to go to the NFL. But between Hunter Wohler, Jack Nelson, Joe Huber, I would imagine I might have read them in order where they're going to go. But do you think all three get drafted, and who do you think might get drafted the highest?
I would say all three definitely get drafted. I would expect Jack Nelson, I think, has a shot at the third round because the tackle class is not great after the first round. There's a drop-off. That could be really good news for him. I'm a Joe Huber fan. I think his versatility on the interior of the offensive line is going to be valuable. But I am a huge Hunter Wohler fan. Any safety who hits like that, I'm going to be a fan of you. I'm with you. He has a shot. I would think late third, early fourth round is where I would expect his name to be called. Selfishly, I hope he's drafted in the fourth round so I can talk about him when he gets picked. But for his sake, I hope he's long gone before I get on the desk.
What about former Badgers, Chimere Dike, Graham Mertz? What do you think about them?
Dike had a great pre-draft process. The speed, the testing. And this wide receiver class is a little bit light. The way that and the pre-draft process that he had with the All-Star Game Combine, his stock is shot up. I think he has a shot to be fourth or fifth round. Graham Mertz is going to be a long shot. I know he was a Combine invite. The word I got was he was a Combine invite because of medicals. Teams really wanted the opportunity to evaluate, the injury history and see where he's at. But this is a light quarterback group. So if 12 or 13 quarterbacks get drafted, I think he's got a shot.
Following up on that, the Packers seem to be a team that love to either acquire a undrafted free agent or maybe even draft a quarterback. Is that something you could see on the table for the Packers somewhere? I know that they did it last year. They have Malik Willis. They have Jordan Love, obviously, but adding another quarterback seems like good business.
I'm still a believer in the Ron Wolf strategy of get one every year, whether that's in the 6th, 7th round or as a priority undrafted free agent, someone that you're making a concentrated effort to recruit them. You're probably calling them in the 6th round saying, if you don't get drafted, we would love to sign you. Here's $40,000 or whatever to get them in camp. So yes, I think especially when you have the quarterback position solved, I think it's very important to be a quarterback factory, to continue to turn the wheel. You never know what's going to happen with your starters. And especially with a 17 game and ultimately an 18 game season coming, the number 2 quarterback in a lot of places, just like Malik Willis was last year, is going to become really valuable. So I would continue to invest, again, even if it's round 6 or round 7, I think you add one of those guys every year.
All right, last 2 questions for you. I have another one chiming in from the fans, and this has been a name that people are excited about. Tet McMillan, could he fall to number 23, or how much do you think the Packers would have to trade up to get him, the wide receiver, I believe, from Arizona?
He is from Arizona, wide receiver. I think he could fall to 23. I don't hear a consensus from teams on love for him. That said, it only takes one team, just like with Michael Penix Jr. last year. No one had him going 8 until the Falcons took him at 8. So with McMillan, he could go 6 to the Raiders, and you would understand it, right? You would say, okay, they don't have a receiver. They need one for Geno Smith. But it's also possible that he gets through the teens, and maybe someone like Matthew Golden from Texas jumps him, maybe Luther Burden from Missouri, Emeka Ibuka from Ohio State, to where he could actually somewhat realistically be there at 23.
Last one, I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but through the NFC North, who do you think over the last, let's say, 3 years has had like the best draft, the ability to look back of the teams, the Bears, the Lions, the Packers, and the Vikings?
I still love what the Bears did last year. I know it didn't pan out, but Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze was such a special pairing. So I loved that, but again, the results weren't there. I think Detroit's done a really, really good job of not only drafting good players, but drafting for their scheme and being willing to go against the grain. When they took Jahmyr Gibbs, no one thought that was a good value, where they took him at 12 overall. It's proven to be really, really smart. Even when they took Penei Sewell, it's like, oh, we're going to draft this guy and make him play right tackle. This is such a waste. And now he's the best right tackle in football, and he's eventually going to move to the left side. So I think Detroit has done a fantastic job in it. Obviously, the success they've had points to how well they've drafted.
Matt, we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and thanks for hopping off and reconnecting with us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, guys. Thanks for talking to me.
All right, that was Matt Miller of ESPN NFL Draft Analyst. You can see him on day 3 of the draft, filling in for Mel Kiper. At NFL Draft Scout is his Twitter handle. I've followed him for years. He's fantastic. Super treat to be able to talk with him, and I'll be digging into his manifesto a little bit later. We got to get back down to the Sylvee. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly.
Come on, Matt. You're the fantasy football guy.
Yeah. I know, but we're pretty far removed from fantasy last year.
And honestly, you're into tight ends.
Oh.
I knew how that was going to sound before I said it, but I didn't mean it like.
Okay.
Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube. Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by Starion Bank with 3 Madison area locations in Middleton, Sun Prairie, and Monona. Starion Bank is here investing in your community. Start your experience at starionbank.com. Member FDIC. Strong up front. Wisconsin's new offensive coordinator Jeff Grimes putting his O-linemen to the test. The Badgers OC joining Wilde and Tausch talking strategy of making sure his guys on the front line remain accountable.
The ask of them is higher than it has been, but I think they want that, and so they've been really eager as well, and have done a great job. When you do that, you get more of them. No one rises to low expectations. The more you ask of them, I think the more that they'll give.
Everyone is talking about the draft, but you won't feel one from high-quality Pella Windows. Get no-interest financing options or free glass upgrades today at PellaWI.com.
Greg Scalzo here for Buck & Honey's. Make your Easter celebration one to remember and spring into this holiday season at Buck & Honey's. Their award-winning restaurant offering seasonal dishes, handcrafted cocktails, and exceptional service. As you gather with loved ones this spring, don't forget to plan ahead for Mother's Day. Treat mom to an unforgettable meal in a warm and inviting atmosphere. Celebrate great food and great company this Easter and Mother's Day. Make your reservation today at their locations in Sun Prairie, Monona, Wanakee, or Mount Horeb. We'll see you at Buck & Honey's.
Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. When you see Diamond Jim, you can count on him to be on your side. Selection beyond compare with on-site repair, so you can wear your jewelry with pride. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Look who we have here.
It's the refreshing deliciousness of a Pepsi mini can. It's the perfect complement to any meal. The dash of indulgence your day was dreaming of. The sip that'll have you singing Pepsi.
Nope, not again, Steve. Let's take a cue from the Pepsi mini can and pack all that awesomeness you're feeling into a much smaller treat for everyone. Deal?
So, big awesomeness, smaller size. I think I've got just the thing.
Pepsi mini can. Mini can, big taste.
Madison's home of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Lillard locks up top to Giannis. Whoa, what a play!
Wisconsin Badgers volleyball.
Underneath it, pump set, left side, powers it down. What a rally, and Wisconsin comes out on top.
And now, the Milwaukee Brewers.
Swinging a fly ball to left. It is back to the wall. Gone! Churio, a grand slam.
This is Madison's new home of the Milwaukee Brewers, 100.5 ESPN.
With the next pick in the big draft, Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Dane County selects you. As we count down to the draft in Green Bay, Big Brothers and Big Sisters is also counting on you to help meet the growing demand of mentorship in our community. Become a role model, a motivator, a supporter, a positive influence. Empower the young people in our community to create a brighter future for all. Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Dane County presents The Big Draft in partnership with the NFL Inspire Change. Learn how to get involved at bbbsmadison.org.
This is Monte Ball.
Monte steps to the right, dashes, reaches, touchdown.
You listen to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good afternoon, Madison. I'm Ryan Wollersheim, and this is your Sports Center update brought to you by Ridgetop Exteriors, Wisconsin's premier roofing, siding, and window contractor since 2002. Visit them at ridgetopexteriors.com. The NBA playoffs are sorta here. The Bucks did clinch the 5 seed with their win against the Pistons this past Friday, and now they face their old friends, the Indiana Pacers, in the first round of the playoffs. It'll be the second straight year that the Bucks and Pistons will face off in round 1. Last year, the Pacers beaten the Bucks in 6 games when Giannis Antetokounmpo was injured. Now this year, the status of Damian Lillard still very much up in the air as he's out indefinitely with deep right vein thrombosis in his right calf. Here's what Doc Rivers had to say about his status after Sunday's game against the Pacers.
I'm not sure, honestly. I'm assuming he has another test early this week, midweek, but honestly, I don't know how I know it's going well. It's progressing well, but I honestly don't know from there where it goes.
Bucks-Pacers playoff series starts this Saturday. That's a noon tip-off. Catch that game right here on 100.5 ESPN. And head over to ESPNWisconsin.com for all your NBA news and coverage.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
You gotta keep your chill with Jim, Matt, and Molly.
I am savage.
So you're not special.
Jim, if we want to play this game, we can play this game.
And I'm just like, oh my God, this guy's going to swing on Jim. He's a complicated fellow.
People like me.
I don't think so.
This is Jim, Matt, and Molly on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
We're learning a lot about each other.
David Deerfield says Naughty Molly rears her dirty mind once again.
What's the difference? It's like the same thing as a hot
Brats are so much different texture. And you guys know what I'm talking about.
Okay. Sure. Can you give us any insight onto the tush push? We've talked about it a lot on our show.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I am a hated man in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio in downtown Madison, alongside Molly Brown, here's Jim Rutledge.
This is Jim, Matt, and Molly. We are presented by Coors Light. Jim, if the mountains are blue, you know what to do.
And that's crush a Coors Light.
I love having the power as we are here at the Frank Distributing showcase here at the Sylvee. We did just talk to Matt Miller. If you missed any of that conversation, you can listen back on the new ESPN Wisconsin app. Go check out that app. Go get it downloaded. It is an awesome app. Want to tell you about our friends at Carbon World Health and how excited I am to get my journey there started at their brand new location located in the Prairie Lake Shopping Center. Their state-of-the-art facility will feature Carbon's innovative technology, including Botox, hydrofacials, M-Sculpt, IV therapies, and so much more. Stop in today to get started on your health and beauty journey and tell them that Molly from Jim, Matt, and Molly sent you.
Get into the show, 844-770-3776. That's the Carbless Talk and text line. List is more. I see the Carbless table across from us as we are at the Sylvee for the Frank Distributing Showcase. It's not open to the public. It's an opportunity where they showcase some new products, whether it's brands that you know or new brands, and we will investigate later. Molly Brown and I will. I'm going to try to say hello during commercial breaks, but it is packed here, so I don't even know how much I'll get an opportunity to get out and say hello to all of our good friends that we see in the area. Shout out to
your food looks delicious.
Right? I did make that. You want to change your mind and make the ask to bring some food by?
I might.
Yeah, I had to. I worked out at Carbon earlier today.
There you go.
And I need some more sustenance after that. Matt Miller was fascinating. Thank you for chiming in on the questions. We had two good questions. One, 608, I think you've chimed in twice now, so why don't you go ahead and give us your name so we can give you credit for your – we might just call you Tet McMillan because you're the one that keeps on chiming in about Tet McMillan.
Tet in the 608.
Right. And then also TJ from the Road had a great question for Matt Miller. But we do have a siding limited poll question, which is not too bad if I do say so myself. We asked the question, and right now it is a landslide. Do you want the Packers to prioritize the quantity or the quality in their draft picks this year? Right now, 83% of you say quality. It seemed like Matt Miller agreed with me, though, Molly, that the Packers have starters. They have holes to fill as starters in this NFL draft.
Yeah, which not great. Like, I mean, if we're being honest, right? Like, do you want to draft guys that you automatically have to throw into a game right away? Because I don't. I mean, I don't know. I think we talked about Jordan Morgan. We've talked about him multiple times that it's like, okay, he was expected to play last year. Didn't even touch the field.
Yeah, I mean, those injuries, but
still
not great.
No, and I mean, is there a position on this roster that you feel comfortable with somebody just being able to step in? I mean, I think corner is going to be the one that somebody's going to have to get drafted and step right in.
I want to play a little game right now, Molly. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
And we can make it some draft music. If I am, I don't know who's making the announcement for the Packers pick, but let's say Roger Goodell walks up to the podium and he says the Green Bay Packers take Kelvin Banks, offensive tackle from Texas, with their first-round pick. What's your reaction?
That's who Matt said that they were going to pick, right?
Yeah.
So I guess
Miller,
I have
not
to trust.
Matt Hamilton.
I know, exactly. I guess I have to trust that. But, I mean, I don't love it, because it's not a sexy, flashy pick.
Yep.
And, I mean, granted, I'm not expecting the Packers to get a wide receiver or anything spectacular that I'm going to be super excited for. But at the same time, in order to talk myself into it, because that's what I've said before that I have to do every single year is talk myself into a pick and get excited about it, is I have to say, okay, Goody's protecting his asset. He's protecting Jordan Love. He is trying to keep Jordan Love safe in order to help him grow, to help Jordan Love get better. So I guess I have to be excited about it, right?
I'm going to give you some more. I want instant reactions.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. Offensive line, that's depth. Unlikely to unseat Walker this year as the starting left tackle and is more of a depth pick. Mm-hmm. Packers have a lot of holes to fill. That could be concerning. I understand that part of it. Let's go with Texas A&M edge, Shamar Stewart, the workout, the underwear Olympics star, Shamar Stewart.
See, so what makes me excited about that is
Underwear Olympics?
Yes, Underwear Olympics. Actually, Captain Underpants is what I'm going to call him if they do end up getting him.
Perfect.
That'd be perfect.
God, I want that pick now. Call him. Which, honestly, Captain Underpants is a great description of a guy that he didn't have the production in college, but he scored basically a perfect RAS score.
So, I mean, it would be exciting in the sense of getting a defensive player that hopefully would become something, but I don't like the idea of hoping for somebody to become something. Do you know what I mean?
Rashawn Gary, Lucas Van Ness? Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, I got one more for you. We'll see if I might have more, but I want to give Ryan an opportunity. What about the other name I threw out there, Boston College edge, Donovan Ezeraku? He's a player that's climbed up and he had production in college. Now some of the testing and combine stuff matched some of that production, so he's now climbed up from, as Matt Miller said initially, as a third-round pick, has climbed up to be a guy that could be a first-rounder. The familiarity with Jeff Hafley, who Matt Miller did say that it seems like they had a good relationship. That to me says that even if the Packers had him a little bit lower on their board, like if I was picking between Stewart and Ezeraku, I'm going to go with Ezeraku if my defensive coordinator says that's my guy.
So I think you hit it right there, that's the thing that excites me about him is just the connection that he has with Hafley, that I would hope that bringing somebody in that you've already worked with, and on the opposite side for him to work with a coach that he's already been with, to be able to pull more out of you, hopefully, that I'm hoping, and then going into Jeff Hafley's second year with the team, that he'll actually get something out of him. That would be my only hope with him.
Ryan, you got any names you want to throw out there at Molly?
I think you named the names that I would have, too. The other one that we already talked about once during a Prospecting Packers segment not too long ago, and one that Molly was really interested in, Emeka Egbuka. I mean, Mel Kiper was on Wilde and Tausch, and he called Emeka Egbuka a professional wide receiver.
A professional receiver.
And I just think that's what the Packers kind of need. I mean, he's got versatility to play outside, inside, and he might not be he probably doesn't have the high-end, projection that a Ted McMillan would, or some other guys like Luther Burden, but he's a guy who is already older. He's 23, so, Goody probably doesn't like him already. He's a little too old for his liking. But I just feel like that's a guy who you could probably see being maybe a low-tier number one receiver, but maybe, is he going to be the flashiest guy? Probably not. But I think the Packers just need a little bit more consistency at pass catcher, and getting him could do a lot for them.
All I heard was basically Kendrick Lamar walking in front with that walk at the Super Bowl. Hey, Goody, I hear you like him young.
A professional receiver.
Literally.
What do you think about that?
In a different way.
What do you think about that, Molly?
See, I mean, that, like I said, when you guys presented me with the names last week when we did this exercise, like, he was the one I was excited about. He's a sexy pick. Like, that is awesome. It'd be great. See, I think there's pros and cons to every single one of these that you said. But, I mean, could you imagine if Brian Gutekunst brings in, quote-unquote, a number one wide receiver for Jordan Love, but never did that in the tenure that he had with Aaron Rodgers?
So the interesting thing about this wide receiver, so I listened to Mina Kimes' podcast today. She had Todd McShay on, and Todd McShay compared this wide receiver from Ohio State to basically, it's like in a rom-com. Like if you're, like, we'll put it in your shoes, Molly. Well, we're both married here, but like, I don't know. We'll put it out to someone.
Just call it out to me. Just go ahead.
Throw it out to Ryan. Like if you were friends with someone for a long time, and all of a sudden you realize, wait, I love this person. Like, I didn't realize, like, it didn't jump off the screen, but all of a sudden you have that moment of, like, I love them. Well, that is kind of how Todd McShay came around to the Ohio State wide receiver. He actually said a little bit of Terry McCarron, similar idea of when at Ohio State's pro day for McCarron, nobody was there for him, but all the coaches talked about him. And apparently the same thing happened this time around with the wide receiver from Ohio State. So that's a little buzz there for him. Mina Kimes basically gave Todd McShay two options. I forget who the other option was, but he picked Kentucky cornerback Maxwell Harrison, he ran a 4.28 40-yard dash. His stock is rising. He is a corner from Kentucky, a late riser in this draft. How would that make you feel, Molly?
I feel like I saw that name floating around. Ryan, am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. He was actually in we actually just had Matt Miller on, and he was contributing to a latest Buzz and Intel article recently with him, Jordan Reed, and Field Yates. And I believe Maxwell Harrison and then also Donovan Ezeraku and one other player were the three players that they highlighted as fast risers, could be going from second round to even fringe first round players. Yeah, he's one of those guys. And like Jim said, I mean, 4.28 40 teams gonna.
That's fast.
That's damn hot right there.
Damn hot. Yeah, no, I was going to say, I feel like I remember seeing that name being floated around weeks ago. So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I would love it if they picked up a cornerback. To me, a cornerback is another sexy pick. Like, I think wide receiver, cornerback, again, why I keep wanting Travis Hunter. Again, why I know it's never going to happen. But those are the two, quote-unquote, sexy positions in my mind. So, I'd be excited. I'd be very excited. I shouldn't have said that. I take it back. Shouldn't have said it 3 times.
You can chime in on any of those, 844-770-3776. We're getting closer. So I listed off a bunch of those names. Is there a position, is there a player that would get you excited, get you pumped, get you to like stand up and go, yeah! if the Packers drafted them. I mean, there are, I think, some players. There are some players that I do think will make Packer fans say, yeah, and others say, what?
Dad, you're
and some will say,
embarrassing
okay. So
Oh, my God.
with all of those, I do think you can chime in on who's your who's your what, and who's your pick. 844-770-3776 on the Carbo Stock and Text line. This is more. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly. We'll continue the conversation on the other side.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly.
Who just Who was that?
That was Molly.
Okay.
Molly's a snorter, and she makes weird noises when she laughs.
Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
Julie Granger is the president of Junior Achievement of Wisconsin. Julie, your organization has business technology from James Imaging Systems. Yet today, please tell us about Junior Achievement's unique mission.
Junior Achievement of Wisconsin has a mission of inspiring and preparing young people for success in a global economy. We serve students anywhere from kindergarten through 12th grade, and we just started serving young adults 18 to 25.
I understand financial literacy is also an important part of your mission.
Financial literacy is critical to the long-term success of every individual so that they can plan their futures and they can live their dreams.
To help turn those dreams into reality, how can everyone get involved?
We are looking for people who are willing to donate their time, treasure, and talent to the organization.
What's the first step?
The best way to reach us is through our website, wisconsin.ja.org.
James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
Hey, Gina, did you hear about the draft?
Wayne, there's no draft at Pella.
There's definitely a draft. Right, Wildy? Yeah, everybody's talking about it.
Pella windows are constructed of the highest quality. No drafts. But Pella should be everyone's number one pick because right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get no interest financing options or free glass upgrades.
So where is the draft?
Coon. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply and 4/30/2025.
Hey, it's Molly Brown from Jim, Matt, and Molly. I've been drinking ZOA Energy for a while now, and I absolutely love it. ZOA is my go-to beverage when I need a boost without the crash that comes with other energy drinks. It's packed with natural ingredients like vitamin B and C, electrolytes, and has zero sugar. It fuels my workouts and busy days. I recently had twins, and I have a toddler, so I need all of the energy I can get. Head over to ZOAEnergy.com to find the location nearest to you to pick up some ZOA for yourself. ZOA Energy for balance and drive.
The area's best high school sports coverage is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania.
If you missed me, Hunter Vaughn, and the Dean Dennis Summerow this week, you can listen back to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We previewed the baseball and softball seasons, looking at all the area teams that could make a run to the state tournament. Plus, we were joined by the head baseball coach of the Monona Grove Silver Eagles, Kevin Connor. Again, listen back to me and the Dean wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, it's John Hayes, owner of Goodman's Jewelers. Come in and discover the high standards, classic traditions, honesty, integrity, and elegance when you walk through our doors. For over 90 years, customers have returned again and again to our warm boutique setting. Trust me, because I've been there for over 40 of them. Whether it's time to come back or your first time in, stop by Goodman's Jewelers at 220 State Street today. Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
Mark Tauscher here for Prize Picks, the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. Simple to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. And springtime is here. It's one of my favorite times of the year. Baseball season is in full swing, and the basketball and hockey playoffs showcase exciting action just about every night. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond, the hardwood, and the ice in your Prize Picks lineup. On Prize Picks, you can mix and match player projections from different sports so you can combine your favorite baseball players with players from basketball, hockey, esports, and much more. The push to the playoffs is on with Prize Picks, the best place to cash in on your favorite sports. Download the app today and use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions.
Yeah, it's over. I'm circling these boxes, grabbing a brand, man, it's hungry.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The brand new ESPN Wisconsin app. Download the app today for your chance at an all-inclusive private tailgating experience during day 3 of the draft in Green Bay. Open up the ESPN Wisconsin app, check out the contest tab, and register for your chance to win.
This is Jim, Matt, and Molly. We are live at the Sylvee for the Frank Distributing event. It is a showcase, showcasing all the new products that they have out, including they have some carbless products here, obviously. Carbless Talking text line is 844-770-3776. List is more. Jim Rutledge, Molly Brown with you. Some people chiming in on that Carbless Talking text line. Joe in the Boonies chimes in, if we draft McMillan, I will belly flop into Lake Mendota in a green and gold swimsuit. All right, we're holding that one to you, Joe. Phil in Wanakee chimes in, a wide receiver in the first round. What? From pure shock.
What?
QB would be, yeah.
Wow, Jordan Love hater.
A QB in the first round would be bold, mainly because this is not a draft where there's viewed to have, like, really any first-round talent. Maybe Cam Ward as like if you were grading the top prospects, I think Cam's the only one. I think he was 14th on Matt Miller's board. I would say that would be a big reach. I don't hate the Packers covering their bases, mainly because what's the worst place to be if you're an NFL team with a quarterback is the team that has to pay a guy who's not worth it. And the Packers, like right now, Jordan Love has not earned his paycheck.
Right.
And I don't know if he ever will. But what's going to happen is if Jordan Love continues to put up the same numbers he put up the last 2 years, which are basically identical, he puts it up again next year, and the Packers win 10 games and they're in the playoff again, they're going to have to pay him again. Mm-hmm. But you don't want to pay him again because then you're paying this guy an exorbitant amount of money to be part of the group. And so then you have to make this decision. Do we live in this, Tua as an example, down with Miami? There's other quarterbacks out there where you get stuck in this cycle, this purgatory of, well, we are a team that unless we build a perfect roster, we have a quarterback we can win with but not because of, and we might just be cranking out. Basically, imagine Aaron Rodgers' timeline with the Packers but with no MVPs and maybe one less playoff win per year, which is, again, a lot of teams would take that. But if you're the Green Bay Packers and you call yourself Title Town, that's a weird spot to be.
Right.
So drafting a QB here late, like a guy that, let's say Quinn Ewers falls.
So that was my question is, at what round can the Packers comfortably draft a quarterback without disgruntling their quarterback, their current quarterback?
What do we think here? That's actually like that as a side unlimited poll question. 844-770-3776. Carl was talking text line. List is more a secondary side unlimited poll question. Matt Miller said that the Ron Wolf philosophy, he's a believer of it. And Matt Miller joined us earlier. You can listen back on the ESPN Wisconsin app, Apple, Spotify, and those great places. But he asked the question, or he said he agreed with Ron Wolf's strategy of always either acquiring a quarterback through a priority free agent or through a late-round pick at a minimum every single year. So we want to ask you the question, a side unlimited poll question. What round could the Packers conceivably take a quarterback without upsetting Jordan Love? I would have to go no earlier than 5th. Like a 5th round is a stretch.
Yeah.
But, I don't know who the guy would be. Ewers comes to mind because he was a big-time recruit, and he had an up-and-down year last year at Texas, but he was hurt, and so maybe he's a guy that teams view higher than what his production put out on tape. But, if he fell, and then the Packers are we can't miss on this prospect, worst-case scenario, we might be able to flip him for a 5th-rounder or a pick in the future. 844-770-3776. I guess the options will be 5th, 6th, 7th, or undrafted, or priority free agent, I guess is how I would put it.
I mean, but if you're going to do that, then I think you just keep Malik Willis because you saw success with him, right?
Did we, though?
We did.
Look, Malik, I don't think the Packers need to move off Malik Willis, but he's
not going to be your next star guy that you're going to pay.
He was
a
terrible
ton of money
against the
to.
Bears. He had to come into the game. I think the Packers caught lightning in a bottle. If you had to play 5 games with Malik Willis as your quarterback, you're going 2 and 3.
I was going to say 3 out of 5.
I think, look, you caught some terrible, like, who was the first one? Was that the Titans? Titans are terrible. What was the other team to beat the Colts?
It was the Colts, yeah.
Yep.
That was when Josh Jacobs rushed for like 260 yards. I think.
And again, Malik Willis as their backup quarterback this year is fine, but I think ideally you find a replacement for Malik Willis.
I mean, yes.
And then possibly could be, you don't have to do that this year, but like Malik Willis, Malik Willis is worse than Tyson Bagent as a backup quarterback, so he's already not the best backup quarterback in the NFC North.
Is Tyson Bagent still on the Bears?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't even know.
Hell, he might be worse than the Bears' third option in Case Keenum. But like, who's the Lions' backup quarterback? Is it still Teddy Bridgewater?
I believe
he did come in at the end of the year. Remember that?
I believe they have Hendon Hooker still on the roster.
Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater, Hendon Hooker. So they're kind of doing the vet and the youngster. Like, that's probably on par with the Packers. Like, the Lions would probably go 2 and 3 over 5 games with Teddy Bridgewater, quarterback. And then the Vikings, TBD. If they sign Ryan Tannehill, they have a better quarterback situation. So the Packers conceivably could start the year with the worst backup quarterback in the North. Now, he's not a bad backup quarterback, but let's not oversell Malik Willis.
Are we really
you don't want Malik Willis starting 5 games.
Let's just go through everything that the Packers are probably the worst at in the NFC North, because I feel like that's what we've done lately.
Well, no, Goody was more. He could be the best GM or he could be the worst GM in the North by the end of this year.
But I think that's also because there's good GMs in the North
right,
too.
The
right?
NFC North is, I think,
probably one of the stronger divisions. With
trending to be the division that I'm trying to think what was the division back in the day that you just never wanted to, that nobody ever got out of, that was really tough to be in. But
AFC North for a long time.
Yeah, AFC North, like they're trending to that. I think I'd be flabbergasted if the Bears are not competitive and respectable this year, and going from 5 wins to even 8 is not crazy, 3 more. So that all of a sudden makes the North a little bit tougher overall. And obviously Detroit should be right there, and obviously Minnesota. They might fall back a little bit, but I would say that the overall total wins in the NFC North, as far as a win percentage and everything, could be very similar next year to what it is this year, which is probably one of the best in the NFL. So, Ryan, do you like our options, or should we take 5th off the board? Like, is that too obvious? That's too high?
No, I kept 5th on there. I had 5th, 6th. It's already been posted, actually.
Okay.
I have 5th, 6th, 7th, and undrafted as the options.
And then 844-770-3776. That's the Carbus Talking text line. This is more. You can chime in. How early is too early for the Packers to take a quarterback? Basically, you don't want to upset Jordan Love. So is that the 5th round, 6th, 7th, or priority free agent? Ryan, what's your answer on that?
I'd say 5th or 6th round, honestly. I think once you get to day 3, especially after round 4, I think it's pretty interchangeable at that point.
But then if you're drafting that low, is that guy really going to be the guy? And yes, I understand Brock Purdy, Tom Brady. I understand that miracles can happen. But, like, are you actually going to get out of that pick what you think that you are going to?
As long as he has to start one game, and if he wins that game, then it's worth the pick. I mean,
One game, Ryan. Come on.
I mean, that could be the difference between winning a division, losing a division, even making the playoffs. I mean, that's the razor's edge of the NFL. One more loss last year, and I'm pretty sure the Packers are out of the playoffs. So, yeah, I mean, that is the difference. And I think especially for what the Packers are in, I know they need starters at multiple positions, but at the same time, you can't underrate the value of having a solid backup quarterback, especially if Malik Willis is if he's only on the roster for one more year, then you would want somebody to backfill that spot. But there is ways that you can work around that, like Jim has said. I mean, you can just sign a backup veteran quarterback, but that's not the Goody, the Ron Wolf way. That's the tradition of the Green Bay Packers.
And I know Rick in DeForest chimes in and says Malik Willis was 2-0, but Malik Willis did a great job. And that trade for Malik Willis is an automatic W for Goody. Right. But, I think Goody would be – and he's smarter than this. He's not riding or dying with Malik Willis saying this is our backup quarterback now for the next 3 years. They were able to game plan a good offensive system to beat 2 terrible teams, and that was great. And that was more than I think we thought we were going to get out of Malik Willis. So, again, kudos to LaFleur, kudos to Goody for the pick, and trading, a 7th rounder to get Malik Willis is ideal. But, look, the best-case scenario, you could go with Joe Milton for the Cowboys backup quarterback. What was he, like a 7th-round pick? And then he was traded for a 5th? Like, you moved up spots by drafting a QB. Jimmy Garoppolo, I think it was a 2nd-round pick, backed up Tom Brady for a few years, and then they were able to trade him for, I think, a 2nd-round pick or a late first. So a lot of these guys, they can hold their value more than a lot of these other picks. And I know we think about but a quarterback who could even be a long-term backup. Well, again, I'll use Chicago because Tyson Bagent, he was a priority free agent. He is now a cheap, inexpensive player the Bears are able to have for one more year, I believe. Maybe it's another one after that, to back up Caleb Williams. Now, they brought in Case Keenum because they wanted the veteran in the room because, unlike the Packers, they're like, look, we get that our quarterback, J.T. Barrett, played in the NFL, but, like, on game day, he's not going to be hanging out with the quarterbacks. We want a vet there. Jordan doesn't need that anymore. But, like, that's why Chicago bought Case Keenum's like, hey, we just want a vet sitting next to him on the sidelines to be there. And the Packers don't need to do that now. They don't need that with Malik Willis. So, like, taking a flyer, fifth would have to be a pretty special case, in my opinion. But, like, if they took a flyer in the 6th, 7th round or a priority free agent, I actually think that is a smart thing to do, especially if the Packers do what Wildy thinks they're going to do, which is basically acquire more picks.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to find who. So I'm curious, you guys. So you guys both say that 5 or 6 would be the highest that the Packers could go?
5 is pretty high. You're going to have to get, like, I don't know who the top QBs are. You'd have to find someone that just slid for some weird reason.
See, so that's what I'm curious about is who are we even talking about in that general vicinity? Like, I know you brought up the name Ewers. Would he realistically be there? I don't. Ryan, do you have any idea? I know this is like deep.
Here,
I know
actually,
you're not Matt Miller, but
Matt Miller has the list of top 600 players. He does have it by positional rankings here, so I can bring that up. Matt Miller joined the show earlier today, and you can listen back on the new ESPN Wisconsin app. Matt Miller was a winner, by the way. You could be a winner. Go to Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. That's where winners go. Millions of dollars are won every single weekend at Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. Go be a winner at Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. So we're talking, I guess I would start with, and Ryan, I know you're a draft guy too. Hop in if I get too high. I would say Dylan Gabriel from Oregon, Quinn Ewers from Texas, Riley Leonard from Notre Dame, and the last one on this list as far as those are the 8th, 9th, 10th quarterbacks, and then another one, Curtis Rourke, from Indiana, as like tied for 10th with Riley Leonard. So any of those players.
Yeah,
Riley Leonard played in the national championship game.
Yeah.
He is he's an interesting prospect because apparently he's mobile and a guy that has the height and arm and all that kind of stuff. He just needs to learn how to play in the NFL offense. So a guy that could sit for a little bit. Rourke, I don't know a lot about, even though he played in the Big Ten. I'm not going to lie, I didn't see a lot of Indiana games. And Quinn Ewers is one of those pedigree guys.
Got a what? Gross thumb?
Yeah, did you see when he broke his thumb and he played through it? Oh, he was playing with like a plum on his hand. It was disgusting.
Now I'm going to Google it.
But
Am I going to get flagged?
We saw Dylan Gabriel play. I don't know the exact comp for him, but I think he's an interesting prospect.
Yep.
And then Quinn Ewers was, I think, a 5-star guy that went to Texas that was productive there. And if he hadn't gotten hurt this year, he might have been a higher pick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I watched Ewers a couple times. I don't know if I'm like. See, none of these guys exactly. None of them I'm like dying to have on the Packers. But like you're saying, if they are a backup and for who knows how long potentially, I mean, fine. Like a quarterback, I would be absolutely like honestly disgusted if the Packers pick up a quarterback. If it's before 7th round.
Before 7.
Yes.
Okay.
Like I think that's where I land on it.
844-770-3776. How early is too early for the Green Bay Packers to draft a quarterback? All right, we will take a quick break here, but let me tell you about the Brewers Company. I actually am excited to get out there during the week this week or this weekend. They are your outdoor living experts. I have many pieces of furniture from the Brewers Company on my deck at home, and this year I bought, my wife joked I got a new toy. It's the power washer, and I took it out and I cleaned our fantastic Adirondack chairs from the Brewers Company. They look brand new. We got white ones, and they're sparkling on the deck in the backyard. And then we got a couch last year. We're going to go back out there this year. I think we're going to love seat. May look at a grill.
Ooh,
may look at a grill, but otherwise a nice little love seat on that deck would look fantastic. So go to the Brewers Company, they're your outdoor living experts. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly. We're going to throw some stones next.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly.
You can take the boy out of North Carolina, but you can't take the North Carolina out of the boy. I like me some Bulldogs up here on the Packers.
Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
This is a test. This station is conducting a test of the emergency alert system. This station has conducted a test of the emergency alert system.
Cheesy Bites Pizza is back at Pizza Hut. For only $13.99, you get a large pizza with 28 pullable, poppable, cheese-filled bites. Plus, it comes with Pizza Hut's very own Ranch Lovers Flight, featuring 3 bold dips: Ultimate Ranch, Chipotle Ranch, and Pepperoni Ranch. 1 large pizza, 3 dips, endless flavor. Ready to dip into deliciousness? Well, hurry. It's only available for a limited time. Head to a Pizza Hut location or order online at pizzahut.com today. Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event, those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love, with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Welcome to the Chevy Lightning Round. Guess the clues to win. First team, you're up.
Powerful, commanding, unstoppable.
Silverado.
Adventurous, fun, techie.
Trailblazer.
Stylish, nimble.
Trax.
Innovative, electric.
Blazer EV.
Lightning Round champions. You've guessed all the right Chevy clues.
Wherever the year takes you, explore it together in the Chevy of your choice. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
Why is life better with American Family Insurance? Because every policy comes with something very special. A trusted agent who's there to help protect your dreams by finding the right coverage at the right price. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
It's time for the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 100.5 ESPN.
Lillard's going to tee up a 3, and he splashes it through for the left wing.
Brought to you by Michelob Ultra, the official beer of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Back-to-back wins against the Pistons over the weekend for the Bucks, and they end their regular season on an 8-game winning streak, undefeated in the regular season in the month of April. Here's head coach Doc Rivers on improvements.
Yeah, just offensive execution. There's times we have these dead periods in the game that you can't afford to have in the playoffs. Transition defense is probably the number one key. Corner threes, I guess, and then rebounding. That would be it.
Bucks and Pacers will get their first round series going in Indianapolis. That one tips off at noon on Saturday.
This has been your Milwaukee Basketball Report on Madison's home for Bucks basketball, 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Michelob Ultra. Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
Jim, Matt, and Molly continues live from the Sylvee for the Frank Distributing Showcase. No Matt Hamilton, Jim Rutledge, Molly Brown with you. You can see us on the ESPN Madison YouTube stream. If you missed any of today's show, you can listen back on the new ESPN Wisconsin app. We're also available on Apple and Spotify. And we're going to get to throwing stones here in a second. But, again, thanks to Frank for having us out here. Primetime Oilers back at the Everlight Solar Studio. And I got a stone for all of you. So let's get to throwing stones.
1, 2, 3,
Some takes are cooler than others.
You know this kid is as cool as the other side of the pillow.
Some opinions are just cooler than the rest.
That was cooler than being cool. Ice cold.
And if you keep it chill, then it's a cold take.
Chill out.
I'm chill. I'm chill as a cucumber, man.
I'm always the coldest.
This is Throwing Stones, presented by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's chillest Kia dealership.
Yeah, and I do have a stone to throw, but first let me tell you about the best place to go in town for jewelry. That would be Chalmers Jewelers in Madison. And in Middleton, they are Madison's custom jeweler. They are Madison's family-owned jeweler. So whether it's something to treat yourself with a new watch, a wedding band, custom piece of jewelry, Chalmers Jewelers in Madison and Middleton is the place to go. So, Molly, I don't know. I'll ask you this part of it first. Did you watch the Masters?
You know what? I had this whole thing planned out that I was like, oh, it'll be lovely to just turn on golf right away in the morning, which I did. I watched like the Golf Channel's coverage where they're literally just sitting at the clubhouse, boring.
Yeah.
And I was like waiting for it to happen. And then my husband says, well, let's go to the zoo. It's nice out. So I'm like, okay, fine. So then we ended up going to the zoo. Didn't watch any of the Masters. I've seen clips on Instagram and the socials and all that.
Yeah.
But no, I did not, unfortunately, because I had a nap planned out.
So I ended up circling it back around to the Masters. It was not planned out at all during my day.
Okay.
But we had like a full day. We just got up and at 'em. And so we got a bunch of stuff done. The girls were playing really well together. Then we took them to the Oregon pool, the indoor pool. They went swimming.
I was going to say pool?
Yeah. Then my wife wanted to take a bath, so she took a bath. The girls were playing well. They got a little bit of screen time. They played some Minecraft. And then they went and played Barbies together. So they were just playing really well. So I just kind of was like, all right, I'll turn on the TV. Now, I didn't turn on the Masters. I watched, and I'm sorry if you didn't watch this, you missed out. It was the Warriors-Clippers. It went into overtime.
I did watch the end of that.
God, this is what I like about the NBA. You watch the Masters, and I obviously can't do it consistently, but every once in a while you watch, you're like, I hit that shot before. At no point when you're watching an NBA game could you ever think I could, like at the Masters, if you gave me 100 times to hit the ball, I probably could hit something decent.
Okay.
I mean, at an NBA game, I'm not scoring a point. And so, like, that's always my thing with golf, is that, like, the consistency and playing under pressure and the mental part of it, like, that's all.
Pressure. Oh, my God, yeah. I was just watching, like, the clips of Rory.
The interesting part of it. And, like, that's what
Thousands
creates
of
it
people
harder.
watching
So,
you?
like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's easy to golf, but I'm saying physically when you watch it, you're like, I've hit a shot like that before.
Okay.
The NBA, you're like, I'm never, ever in the world going to be able to do what these guys do.
Right.
It's remarkable, and they're all giants out there.
Mhm.
So it's a hell of a play. It was a play-in game. Basically, the loser had to go in the play-in game. The winner got the higher seed.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the Warriors lost. So I was into that.
Fortunately or unfortunately?
Unfortunately.
Okay.
And then basically, I was bullied because on Twitter it's like this whole thing of like, oh, the Masters, you got to watch it. This is so great. This is so great. And then as I'm following along on social, I just realized that basically the Masters is like NASCAR because you have the diehards that watch it. And then basically the diehards were trying to bully you into watching it by saying Rory chokes all the time, and he is currently choking because
Yep, that's what I heard.
he choked away many opportunities to win going away and then was able to hold on in the end. And I'm happy for Rory that he did it. But basically, instead of watching a car crash, you're watching a mental crash. And people, and one of the things people talk about the most, it's either incredibly high scores or the mental crash.
Yeah.
That sounds like race car, like someone who had an amazing NASCAR, someone who had an amazing race that pulled away and did something amazing, or there was a nasty crash.
Yeah.
So for me, I think professional golf and NASCAR are similar because the casuals are really only going to be drawn in by a crash, a mental crash with the Masters or a actual crash with NASCAR. And otherwise, the diehards are just going to be locked in regardless. It's just nobody cares about NASCAR, so those diehards just float off into space and nobody gives a crap. With the Masters, there's a little bit more of an organized bullying campaign to try to bully you to care about the Masters.
Okay.
But, yeah, it was dumb. It was the last thing. I was like, all right, I got one more. I'll flip this on while I'm getting the steaks ready.
So did you watch him, like, win it all?
I didn't. Honestly, I watched him screw up, and not on purpose, but I watched like 17, 18 because I was making steaks. Then I went outside, put the steaks on, I came back in, I saw he won.
Okay.
So, like, I had it on passing. Again, if I had turned that on sitting on the couch and my wife was taking a nap, she would have come downstairs pissed because I was sleeping. Like, because that would have been out cold. I had to have to get up.
Naps. Those
Well, they
are the best
are,
naps
but it was
the
too late in the day,
Masters
too.
Sunday naps.
Because it was going so long,
Yeah.
it was like 5-something. Like, I would have been screwed for the rest of the night. So, Ryan, what do you think of my take on the Masters NASCAR?
I think the logic behind it does make sense, but I do believe you are disrespecting the game of golf. I believe I have to be the Masters police right now.
Oh,
because-
my last little bit about the disrespect of the game of golf. Both those sports I talked about are about equally diverse in players and in fans.
Fair. There's no pushing back
And
against that.
the other part of it is that bothers me on those, and they're not diverse because the entry point is way too expensive.
For NASCAR?
You can't just start driving a NASCAR. I mean,
I think you meant like as a fan.
no, I mean like to be able to go.
Well,
to
didn't you, Ryan? I thought he was talking about being a fan.
No,
I wasn't sure.
No,
Yes.
I'm sorry for the actual be able to play.
So I was like, I mean, Golf is incredibly expensive.
And so
right?
I would imagine becoming a NASCAR driver is incredibly expensive.
Getting a car probably wouldn't be the cheapest thing in the world.
I know they do a lot
imagine.
of like the virtual stuff is how they train now.
Really?
Yeah, there's a guy, I think from Oregon, or does a lot of stuff at the Madison International Speedway. But he's gotten into NASCAR now, but a lot of it started with it's safer. The virtual stuff is very real, but that's how they kind of get their feet underneath them. Then at some point, someone believes in you, and then they buy your car. This also could be a movie and it's completely made up. I don't know. I saw Gran Turismo.
Also, I think
feel like it
there's
all works
probably
like
different ways of getting in it, but like, I mean, you see like those like 10-year-olds that get in the little, I don't even know what they're called, stock cars.
Yeah.
I don't know, something like that. Like that's an entry point too. But yeah, like you're saying, I mean, then you got to get the like toy hauler to carry the dang thing. You got to travel to places for sure.
Yeah.
Ryan, what do you make of his take?
I mean, I think the logic makes sense in that casuals do watch for the mental breakdown, like the crash in NASCAR, but I do think the idea that you could, if given 100 opportunities, do it, they might be doing it at the Masters. I think that's ridiculous because that's the whole point is that these guys are doing it shot after shot for 4 days in a row.
Insane.
872 rounds. Like the poise, the pressure of the marathon of a weekend is incredibly impressive. And that's why there's like 5 guys in the world who can do it on a regular basis. And even then they fall off after like a 2-year stretch usually.
And I don't disagree with any of that. But again, I also go with golfers are skilled. They're not athletes. They can't do anything else.
Just call them fat. I mean, you can just
no, it's
shit
not
out
a
of
fat
shape.
thing. Again, going back to the NASCAR.
Are NASCAR drivers athletes?
They're more athletes than golfers are.
How so?
I mean,
because you're sweating under there?
I mean, that how I don't know
I'm
how
not
much
hating on either one.
I don't know how much a NASCAR weighs, but I don't think these things have like power steering and everything. Like you are.
No?
There's a lot of endurance that it would take to be a NASCAR driver.
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
a lot of physical
For sure.
endurance to be able to do all that and mental part of it. So
I mean,
like
it's 500 laps. Imagine like the longest you've driven, Molly, but imagine going like that long, that long of a drive time, but like at 160 miles per hour the whole time.
and one wrong move you die.
Yeah.
No.
So-
No.
yeah.
I'm out. I'm
So
out.
like that's the other part. Like golf again. I just don't see a golfer or a NASCAR person being able to just jump into another sport. And athletes to me need to be like do a couple different things.
J.R. Smith picked up golf.
Yeah.
He went and played in
But he
college
was a basketball
again.
But in college, because this is my last final take about golf, and it is
All right.
disrespectful. But like, all right, let's use
and
Gabe.
it is disrespectful.
Let's use Gabe Neitzel as an example. 'Cause
Okay.
Gabe's a great golfer. We could use Matt, but Matt at least is an Olympic athlete. Gabe, good athlete, played Division III baseball,
Yeah.
NCAA record holder. That I think that if Gabe, and his schedule seems to allow it a little bit, if you told me that Gabe was even like, when he retired, was able to make a living on the Champions Tour, that I would believe you.
Yeah.
And the fact that you could just basically golf your way into being able to be good at it, if you have the time and money to be able to do it, I think if you have a baseline athletic skill, anyone can do it.
Interesting.
Now, again, not at the
Okay.
Masters level, but to be able to play professionally, I think if Gabe Neitzel took like 2 years off and just spent all his time and money to like get someone coach him all that kind of stuff, he could do it. He would. I'm not saying he's winning the Masters, but I think he could have like a professional career.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, it's a sport that
Matt
people,
Hamilton would be. Matt Hamilton's even easier one because he's got the mental part of it from from
Yeah.
being a professional athlete,
For
or
sure.
on the curling
I'm
side
not-
of it. So like that's my take. Brian, what's your last thought about that take?
I wouldn't say that's off necessarily, but it is. Yeah, it's the mental aspect of the sport is what makes it tougher. But I'm trying to think of a sport that is unique to that, where there's also athleticism the way that you're talking about, Jim. Like whether you have to have the mental capacity for that long of a time, amount of a period of time per event.
Yeah, that part is, and the mental aspect. I'm not saying that golfers are not, like, they're incredibly skilled, and that mental, like, that is all impressive, and that endurance is incredibly impressive. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying that there is, like, in no world could anyone be able to pick up and be a 12th, like, the ability to be like the 12th man in the NBA
Oh, for sure. No.
is impossible. It is not impossible to be the equivalent of a 12th man on the PGA Tour.
You know what
or
might-
the Champions Tour.
You know what might be the most impressive then? For like basically the endurance you need for golf, maybe not quite as long, but also the athleticism of the NBA. What tennis players do is really impressive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
A 4.5 hour long match where you
That's
are just going back.
insane.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
it's basically a boxing match, but 3 times as long on average.
Yep. I like that, and then hockey too. But hockey, better athletes.
Hockey,
But
yeah.
again,
When it
that,
goes
like,
to OT, that's like it's crazy.
yeah, because they hop and they start riding a bike, stationary bike during the break.
You guys are just making me realize, like, how terrible I am at every single one of these sports.
Mission accomplished.
Savage.
Go to Risk Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. It'll make you feel better about your inadequacies as an athlete. You can get yourself an old-fashioned, a Coors Light, get yourself steak sandwich at the Sizzle, Swizzle, and Swirl Happy Hour. I was just messaging Lee, Molly, that we need to get back out there. So
yes,
if
please.
we need to get back out there, that means you, the listener, needs to get out there as well. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening live from St. John's, Newfoundland. The Newfies love Jim, Matt, and Molly. 100.5 ESPN Madison.
Julie Granger is the president of Junior Achievement of Wisconsin. Julie, your organization has business technology from James Imaging Systems. Yet today, please tell us about Junior Achievement's unique mission.
Junior Achievement of Wisconsin has a mission of inspiring and preparing young people for success in a global economy. We serve students anywhere from kindergarten through 12th grade, and we just started serving young adults 18 to 25.
I understand financial literacy is also an important part of your mission.
Financial literacy is critical to the long-term success of every individual so that they can plan their futures and they can live their dreams.
To help turn those dreams into reality, how can everyone get involved?
We are looking for people who are willing to donate their time, treasure, and talent to the organization.
What's the first step?
The best way to reach us is through our website, wisconsin.ja.org.
James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
Hey, ready to sweeten your game? It's time for Quick Trip's Nature's Touch Ice Cream. Ooh, making moves like the starting lineup of a championship team. Whether you're gearing up for the big game, celebrating a win, or just looking for a sweet break in the action. Chocolate, vanilla, cookies and cream, mint chocolate chip, and more. Yeah, there's no such thing as a bad pick. So why wait? Flavor doesn't scoop itself. Get your hands on your winning Nature's Touch Ice Cream flavor today. Only at Quick Trip.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Need new tires? For a limited time at Zimbrick Honda, you can buy 3 tires and get the 4th for only $1. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
As clutch of a player to ever play basketball.
It's Dame time on Season 4 of Behind the Bucks on Bucks Plus.
This year I was like, I need to impose myself more on this team.
Explore Damian Lillard's journey to becoming a top 75 player in NBA history.
That's what really had me feeling like this is going to be great.
Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker, and H&R Benefits Consultant. Find Bucks Plus on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Hi, I'm John Hayes of Goodman's Jewelers. It's hard to imagine, but Goodman's has been the diamond store of Madison since 1933, which means your parents, maybe even your grandparents might have shopped with us. We maintain the same high standards, honesty, and integrity that kept them coming back time and again. Keep their history and our history alive. Shop Goodman's Jewelers today in the heart of Madison at 220 State Street. We're online at goodmansjewelers.com.
The best is at Goodman's.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions, a very handsome reward indeed. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%. Plus, you also get 4% APY on your cash and non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% IRA boost on annual contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rates subject to change. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18th, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after, an in-depth recap of every Bucks game in 6 minutes, no more, no less. Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus audio network. If you missed any of the game or just want to relive the biggest moments, Bucks and Six provides game recaps every morning after. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis, or hopefully the deep threes from Dame, and catch the comments post-game about what happened on the court. Bucks and Six on the Bucks Plus audio network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts, including the new ESPN Wisconsin app.
She's Molly Brown. I am Jim Rutledge. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. Matt Hamilton off today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. He'll be back on Thursday. We are at the Sylvee today. We are here for the Frank Distributing Showcase, and excited to try some of the things being showcased here after the show. A lot of great products, including Carbless. 844-770-3776 is a Carbless Talking text line. This is more. Rick and DeForest chimes in. Jim, swing a golf club for 4 days straight and say you're not an athlete. Plus, they walk the course. They don't carry their bags. And people heckling you, that's every sport. Rick
People
from Madison.
like me.
I'm not saying it's not impressive. I'm just saying that they're not necessarily what I would describe as athletes. Is it athletic? Yes. But what do you describe as an athlete? Like a cross trainer is like someone who would compete in cross training is more of an athlete than, let's say, a golfer. So we do want to ask this question. I just threw a curveball in there for Matt Hamilton's purposes. At Jim, Matt, and Molly, our siding limited poll question. Which one of these sports, golf, jockey, riding a horse, NASCAR, or curling, which one of those sports is the truest way to say they're athletes? Which one of those are truly athletic? Out of those four, which one are the better athletes?
I mean, you know what? In Matt's defense, I did watch his most recent one when him and his sister were out in Colorado.
Yep.
And I will say, I mean, the amount of matches that they have per day, I think they were doing like they definitely had at least two each day. So, like, one, that's already a lot. And each one is what? 2 to 3 hours long.
Yeah.
And then Matt's position, he's sweep. Like, he is sweeping.
Yeah.
He's getting his arm muscles working, his back muscles working, like everything. So I'm not going to hate on curlers.
I'm not going to say Matt's in it, but I think that those are the four that get the least amount of respect.
For sure.
844-770-3776. You can chime on that. At Jim, Matt, and Molly, which one of these four sports has the best athlete? Jockey for horseback riding.
Yep.
Obviously, the horse is the athlete in that one. And I've come around on that. I used to be anti when they did. I forgot ESPN did like the 100 or 50 greatest athletes, and they put Secretariat in there.
You're a big Secretariat guy these days, for sure.
Nothing in this world has dominated a sport like Secretariat. I come back around a little bit. You can't have a ton on there, but when you own the record at the course for the Belmont, the Churchill Downs, and the Preakness, and the record by a lot, I might just, like, a horse on the list I might give it to him.
But the jockey riding it, that's got to be.
Yeah, I don't think it's the same jockey. But yes, the jockey, they're like some of the jockeys, like how small they are in height, but like they did at the Churchill Downs Kentucky Derby Museum, the most famous jockey, I believe, he was 4'9", and I don't know what he weighed like 100-some pounds. Like I had the pictures of the girls stand next to him, or because you could do like not like a person, that'd be rude, but like they had like an actual
like a thing at a museum.
Like how tall are you? And it was insane. He honestly was not that much bigger than Nola.
That's crazy.
Nola, if you don't know, is 8 years old and is probably not quite 5 feet tall and maybe 80-some pounds. So that guy was one of the greatest jockeys of all time. And to be able to control a horse, again, the risking your life factor is not in curling and it's not in golf.
True.
It is absolutely in horseback riding and NASCAR. 844-770-3776. We do have Rick from DeForest chiming in with golf. But then Ty in Sun Prairie chimes in, tuning in late here, but I've always said that just about everyone could probably be a pro golfer with enough practice.
Pro bowler.
Bowler, excuse me, sorry. I will say golfer. Pro bowler, I would agree, absolutely.
Wait, well,
Pro
Rashawn Gary was a pro bowler.
I
mean,
think he's saying
anyone
a pro professional bowler.
Kawhi yourself.
Yes. But I don't hate that take either.
The Rashawn Gary one or the bowling one?
The bowling one.
I'm just kidding. Anybody could do it. Rashawn Gary.
Because,
done,
again,
right?
when you lean on it, you're asking about, and I guess it really comes to how much do you count for the mental in the sport. But we're also pretending that there's not a mental anguish to, like, your playoff, like the NBA or in, like, all these other sports that, like, they're also physically more dominant and impressive than golfers or curlers. And then also there is a mental aspect for it.
But I do think it's
Imagine
different.
going out there and knowing you could get your head ripped off in a football. Like a quarterback.
100%.
You drop back, you have to process everything. Like, what they're doing is harder than anything that happens in golf. And I always like this with – a friend of mine told me this with golf. It is absolutely patently ridiculous. I hear the music here. That golf, everyone has to get quiet as you walk up to a ball that's not moving. Yet in baseball, you got a ball that could look like it's coming at your face.
Yep.
And then you have to decide based on how the seams are spinning, is it going to drop down and should I swing at it, or is it going to peg me in the face? So, like, baseball is exponentially harder as well. Golf, good recreational sport. I'm not sitting and making my day watch them play. I'm not going to watch anyone craft either. All right, it's been Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
Ready to live the high life at home? Miller High Life is giving one lucky winner the ultimate backyard dive bar experience. It's a cabana complete with classic bar